Welcome to Universal Duel 2025 Championship. My name is Joylove Akin Olamigoke, bringing you the battle of the best brains from 1001 Studio. It's match day 2, the gathering of the brightest minds and most talented students across Nigeria, vying for one thing, the top spot. From the quick bus to the brain match, our students will put everything on the line to make sure their universities reign supreme. Let me bring you up to speed. On match day 1, we had University of Lagos taking on University of Ilorin in Group 1. And in Group 2, we had LASU taking on Veritas University. It's match day 2, the battle of the best brain between University of Nigeria and Olabisi Onabanjo University. It is with great honor I welcome our esteemed guest in the studio today, looking so ravishing. It's nice to meet you, Mr. Omoyele and Miss Shikemi Tayo. We've had 4 universities contest so far: University of Lagos, University of Ilorin, LASU, and Veritas. It's different. This is the best. This is the first of its kind. How do you feel about the project?
When you think about the skills that the competition is bringing to the participants, it's similar to what they're going to find in the workplace.
Okay, tell me about it.
Yeah, because when you think about it, in the workplace, you're not only showcasing your technical skills, you're also showcasing your ability to work well with others. And that's really what the competition is about. So I think it's actually a good preparation ground, if you know what I mean, for the workplace.
All right.
So I say thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Thumbs up to that. Mr. Omoyele.
I think it's a great idea. Obviously shows that there has to be ability to think on your feet, ability to be quick on the uptake, and especially because it has to do with things to do with science, which are truly required within context of society. So it's really great to be able to have this competition amongst the best brains to prove who truly, when they get out into the workplace, can come up with solutions very quickly.
Esprit de corps, which serves as team spirit. So we have this team spirit, and we are confident enough to say we are going to win our opponents. And we are facing UNN, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. So I believe that they too are prepared enough, because there is no how we are going to come for this competitive competition, and we are not going to prepare very hard. I believe they prepare very hard, and I have the confidence that we are going to, beat them.
We're about to have our first game with OOU. Shalem, we're not going to the acronym. I feel really excited. I and my team, we have been preparing. We just hope from God's grace to help us ace this round.
So what are you looking forward to today, Mr. Omoyele? What do you want to experience? What do you want to see?
Excitement.
Okay.
I like to see a lot of intellectual output, but I think at the end of the day, it will be excitement from the experience of the contest between great brains.
Miss Shikemi.
I like to see stereotypes broken.
Okay.
Sometimes we have this expectation based on either gender or school or something. I just like to be surprised. When I'm like, okay, I think I have you figured out. I'm like, okay, I apologize.
Okay.
I want to be able to do that.
She likes to be shocked like an electric shock. This is Universal Duel 2025 Championship. Remember to follow us on all our social media platforms, Universal Duel on Instagram, Twitter, on all social media platforms for all the games, fixtures, news, highlight, and of course, exclusive BTS.
Workers A and B can lay 50 and 60 bricks per hour respectively. After working together for 15 hours, how many bricks are left to lay out of 1,800? If a die is rolled 600 times, what is the expected number of times it will land on a 4? Joseph.
1/6.
If a bacterial population starts with the 4,000 cells and quadruples in 2 hours, what is the growth rate per hour? If a shirt originally cost 2,000 naira and is now on sale for 1,800 naira, what is the percentage decrease in price if 10 shirts are bought? According to Hooke's law, the stretch distance of a spring varies directly with the mass attached. If a 25 kg mass stretches it 60 meters, what will a 40 kg mass stretch it? John spent 243.5 hours, 40 minutes to finish a project. What is the time equivalent in seconds? A company's profit is given by the equation P equals 3x minus 100, where x is the number of units sold. If the company's profit is $500, how many units? Michael?
200.
A company's revenue R can be modeled by the equation R equals 200 plus 4,000x, where x is the number of units sold. What's the revenue when 100 units are sold? Michael?
4,200,000.
In a class of 30 students, 18 students play cricket, 15 play football, 12 play both games. How many students in the class don't play either of the games? Kabir?
13.
A student crosses 75% on the test. If there are 260 questions on the test, how many questions did the student answer correctly? If A and B are in the ratio 4:6 and B and C in the ratio 12:14, then A and C will be in the ratio dash. Kabir?
12:4.
A person invests X amount of money at 5% interest rate per annum. How much? A person invests X amount of money at 5% interest rate per annum. How much will they have after 1 year? A camera zoom lens magnifies an object by 8 times. If the object is 6 meters away, how far away is the magnified object?
48.
In a garden, the ratio of red roses to white roses is 3:2. If there are 15 red roses, how many white roses are there? Joseph?
10.
A group of 4 people want to share some money in the ratio 2:4:6:8. If they have 8,600 naira, how much will be the largest share? If the frequency of recessive alleles in the population is 45%, what is the number of dominant individuals out of a population of 5,000 individuals? Pipe A fills the tank in 6 hours, pipe B in 4 hours. If both pipes are open together, how long will it take to fill the tank? Ezekiel?
10 hours.
A bag contains 6 red marbles, 4 blue marbles, 5 green marbles. If a marble is drawn at random, what is the probability of drawing a blue or a green marble?
9/15.
If a bacterial population starts with 1,000 cells and quadruples in 2 hours, what is the growth rate per hour?
5,000 cells per hour.
If a cross between 2 pea plants produces 360 offspring and 180 of them have the dominant trait, what percentage have the recessive traits? Michael?
50%.
John is earning $18 per hour making pancakes. How much is he earning in cents per second? A shop sells a product for $20 and makes a profit of 25% per sale. What is the cost price of the product? The path of a thrown ball can be described by the equation y is to x squared minus 4x plus 4, where y is the height in meters and x is the horizontal distance in meters. At what distances along the ground does the ball hit the ground? A fair coin is flipped 2 times. What is the probability of getting 2 heads? Michael?
1/4.
A fair coin is flipped 2 times. What's the Ezekiel?
1/4. 1/4.
A tank can hold 7,000 cubic meters of water. If it is 45% full, how many cubic meters of water remain to fill it to the brim? A box has 210 coins of denominations 1 rupee and 50 paise only. The ratio of their respective values is 8:6. The number of 1 rupee coin is... A car rental company charges a base fee of 2,000 naira plus an additional 500 naira per day. If a customer rents a car for 5 days, how much will they need to pay in total? Michael?
10,500.
A car travels 180 miles in 3 hours. What is its speed in miles per minute?
1.
Joseph?
1.
A car travels from city A to city B at an average speed of 60 kilometers per hour. If the distance between the 2 cities is 300 kilometers, how long does the trip take in seconds? In a population of 200 organisms, if only 8 have the recessive form of a character, what percentage of the population carries the dominant allele?
75%.
2 machines produce 50 and 80 units per hour respectively. Working together, how long to make 1,040 units? What is the probability of drawing a red or blue marble from a bag containing 8 red, 6 blue, and 4 green marbles? Michael?
14/18.
If a bacterial population starts with 16,000 cells and triples in 6 hours, what's the new population? Michael?
48,000.
The original length of an object is 8 cm, and after magnification, it appears to be 24 cm. Calculate the percentage increase in size.
6.
Any more?
600.
In a chemistry experiment, scientists mix 100 ml of a solution with a molarity of 1 mole with 200 milliliters of water. What is the resulting molarity? The sum of 3 numbers is 240. The ratio of first to second is 1/3, and the ratio... A company's revenue is given by the equation R is equal to 5. A company's revenue is given by the equation R equals 5,000x, where x is the number of units sold. Joseph.
5,000.
The population of a city is increasing linearly. The population was 100,000 in 2010 and 120,000 in 2020. What's the population projected to be in 2050? If the probability of winning a game is 0.3, what's the probability of losing, Joseph?
0.7.
A tank can hold 5,000 liters of water. If it is 40% full, how many liters of water remain to fill it to the brim?
300.
No more?
300.
2 numbers are respectively 20% and 50% more than a third number. The ratio of the numbers is what?
2:5. 2:5.
If X represents the number of hours worked, Y represents the amount earned, and Z represents the workers, which is the independent variable?
The workers. Z.
A microscope magnifies a cell by 500 times. If the cell is 0.05 millimeters in size,
25.
A car travels at a speed of 60 kilometers per hour. How many meters does it travel in 6 minutes?
6.
Any more?
6 kilometers.
A person invests 10,000 naira in a business and gets a 20% profit. How much profit did the person make if he had invested 400,000 naira? In a population of 50,000 individuals, if the frequency of a recessive alleles for character is 40%, what's the number of organisms having a dominant character? A pipe can fill a pool in 4 hours. Another pipe can drain the pool in 6 hours. If both pipes are open, how long will it take to fill the pool?
2.4. 16 hours.
In a genetic cross, what is the probability of having an offspring with the genotype AA if both parents are AA in percentage? Kabir.
25%.
If a bacterial population starts with 12,000 cells and triples in 6 hours, what is the new population? Ezekiel?
72,000.
If a telescope magnifies the diameter of a star from 4 arc seconds to 12 arc seconds, what is the percentage magnification?
300%. 300%.
Lucy and Joy share an inheritance of 4,500.
In case you're just joining us, it's Universal Duel 2025 Championship, the battle of the best brains between University of Nigeria and Olabisi Onabanjo University. My esteemed guests are still here in the studio. Mr. Omoyele, I need your predictions now. University of Nigeria, OOU, who's taking this?
All right, tough one.
Okay.
I will go with OOU.
Why?
Why? Maybe because they're around the corner of me, but OOU just sounds like an acronym that could just sound like winning.
I would have asked you to break down that acronym, but I wouldn't want to push for that. Shikemi, what's your prediction?
I'll go with University of Nigeria, Nsukka.
Tell me something distinct about the university.
Apart from the fact that they shared the same birth year as the country,
Okay.
which is 1960.
Uh-huh.
But then they were the first indigenous university in the country. That's cool. And they currently have the largest academic library in West Africa.
Okay.
That's cool.
I mean, at this point, I would say, right? University of Nigeria. Oh my goodness. Tension is building. The stakes are high. The quiz master is waiting. The arena is set. Let the battle begin.
In which country was the inventor of the first practical phone born?
Scotland.
A committee of 3 is chosen from 10 students. Calculate the number of possible committees. What type of graph is best for showing the relationship between 2 continuous variables?
Line graph.
How many ways can you arrange 7 books on a shelf?
5,040.
How many permutations of 2 items can be chosen from 8 items?
68.
If A is 1, 2, 3, B is 3, 4, 5, and the universal set U 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, find the complement of the union of A and B.
No set.
Find the lower quartile of the data set 9, 12, 3, 5, 8, 3, 4.
6.
The values of mean and median are given as 2, 22.5, and 20 respectively. Find the approximate value of mode.
20.
3 persons enter a train compartment. If there are 5 seats vacant, in how many ways can they take these seats?
12.
If a Poisson distribution, the number of trials is 50 and the probability of success is 4%, what is the
25.
mean value? 3 coins are flipped. What is the probability of getting at least 2?
7 over 8.
What is the expected value of x, which has values 2, 4, and 6 with probability 0.3, 0.4, and 0.3?
0.1.
A bag contains 6 red balls and 4 blue balls. If 3 balls are drawn with replacements, what's the probability they are all blue? A committee of 5 people is to be formed from a group of 8 men, and a group of 6 people is to be selected from a group of 8. How many different groups can be formed?
48.
Complete the series. Hovel is to dirty as hob is to dash.
Unseen.
Complete the series. Bulky is to streamlined as neat is to dash.
Limp.
How many different English words can you make using the letters D, R, E, O, using each letter just once per word?
10.
What is the common trait among lion, elephant, gorilla, and kangaroo?
Mammals.
The elephant in the room refers to?
A hidden problem.
The phrase get a charge out of means what?
Angry about.
A group of crows is called a what?
Salute.
Complete the series. Precipitation is to misstep as perseverance is to dash.
Dismissment.
The Paris Agreement, an international accord on climate action, was adopted in what year?
1942.
Which Frenchman authored The Man in the Iron Mask as well as The Three Musketeers? What is the name of the largest asteroid in our solar system, which is also named after the Roman goddess of agriculture?
Hestia.
The most massive of Jupiter's moons are the 4 Galilean moons. Which of them shares a name with a football league? What Roman numeral will the blank in the series V, I, 10, V, 11?
Ivy.
Find the missing word. Gavel is to judge as baton is to?
Artist.
Lucy and Joy share an inheritance of $4,500 in a 5-to-4 ratio. How much does Joy get?
2,000.
The equation y is equal to 3x plus 5 represents the cost y of buying x items at a store where each item costs $3. What is the cost of buying 10 items? The equation of a line is y equals 3x.
5.
A die is rolled 2 times. What's the probability of getting at least 1/6? A rectangle has a length that is 3 times its width. If the perimeter is 24, what are the dimensions of the rectangle?
7.
The ratio of catfish and crab in a pond is 37 to 39 respectively. The average number of catfish and crabs in the pond is 152. What's the number of catfish in the pond? A farmer has 1,200 oranges to pack into crates of 40 oranges each. How many crates can he fill?
12.
A population of a city increased by 20% last year. If the previous population was 500,000, what?
150,000.
A classroom measures 6.5 meters by 8 meters. What is the area of the classroom in square meters?
12.
A bookshelf has 6 shelves and each shelf can hold 100 books. If 40 bookshelves are added, how many books can be placed on it in total? If we cross 2 heterozygous individuals, what is the percentage of offspring with recessive phenotype?
50%.
A tank is being filled with water at a rate of 20 liters per minute. If it already contains 500 liters and can hold 2,000 liters, how long will it take to fill the tank? If 2 carriers have a child, what's the probability the child will have the disorder, given that 25% of the population are carriers?
1/2.
Which statesman was the head of Kenya at the time of independence?
Tinubu.
The Sahara Desert, the largest hot desert in the world, is primarily located in which African region?
No.
The area of research that focuses on the emergence, evolution, and structure of human culture is what?
Tradition.
The International Boxing Hall of Fame is located in which country?
Jamaica.
What year was Kate Bush's running up that hill?
1981.
What is the estimated age of Thor?
2,500.
What flies in the dark because they produce high-pitched sounds called... Who is the first woman to be pilot in Nigeria?
Chinyere.
In DC Comics, which supervillain killed
Doomsday.
Superman? Which novel opens and closes with the letters of Robert Walton?
Moby Dick.
Which mythological monster had 9 heads?
Cerberus.
What is the name of the traditional Japanese dress?
Wafuku. Oh, it's nice.
Which languages has the most total speakers, native and non-native?
Swahili.
The one with the highest wind velocity?
Hurricane.
The flowers of the curry plant are what color?
Green.
Energy resources derived from natural organic materials are called what?
Nutrients.
What city is known as the gold capital of the world?
Tanzania.
What palindrome describes the time of the day when the sun is directly above our heads?
This is where I say the pressure is getting worse. What an exhilarating, top-tier, beautiful, amazing battle of the best brain between University of Nigeria and Olabisi Onabanjo University. We just ended the brain match where both schools were drilled in applied mathematics, verbal reasoning, general knowledge, and data analysis. Remember, my esteemed guests are still in the studio, looking so beautiful as usual. You know, sometimes you know the correct answer because of nerves. You can't just pronounce it. Sometimes because of nerves, you can't pronounce the word ITE. You know how crazy that is. What do you think about your confidence level in this game so far?
There was a particular gentleman from my school, and even though there were some questions that were missed, I liked that he just shakes his head, kind of like,
shrug it off.
You know, shrug it off, and then proceeds to answer the next question. And this, for me, is actually a real-time test in the kind of skills that you need out there, right? Life is not always going to work out the way you want it to, but the ability to shrug it off and not allow it affect the next opportunity for me was chef's kiss.
Beautiful, fantastic. Mr. Moyele, how are you feeling?
Yeah, so but I think that you did try, but I think that I guess they were not able to respond correctly and to many of the questions, especially within the time frame required. But it does happen.
So I saw something on social media. It was Charlie Poppy saying, XY plus 3Y equals X minus 5. Find Y. Since I don't calculate money for my life, I never use this math solve anything. And I saw that pop up. By the way, who's your favorite artist in Nigeria? Miss Shikemi.
Burna Boy.
Burna Boy. Odogu himself. Mr. Mayele, how about you?
Well, I think that I have a number. It depends on the genre.
Oh, it depends on the genre. Okay.
Of music.
Who's topping your list?
Who do I listen to more? I think it's actually in terms of the gospel terrain.
Okay.
I'll say Nathaniel Bassey.
Nathaniel Bassey. Oh, fantastic. I asked this question because I spoke about Shadi Poppy, by the way.
Yes.
But how applicable are the things we learn in university?
They are important. And I'll give you two examples.
All right.
One, I have a BSc and a master's in biochemistry.
That's a hard one.
Where you had to cram and understand Krebs cycle.
Glycolysis.
Yes. But there are two things that I recall that helped me in my career in pivoting to marketing.
Okay.
One is that we had to present seminars. So you had topics and you had to present seminars to your professors.
Yes,
right? And so it did offer a certain level of discipline, the ability to research, and also therefore present with confidence and answer questions with confidence before, quote unquote, your superiors. And in the marketing field that I'm in right now, that is really required. Your sense of analysis, presentations, reasoning, even to those who might be more knowledgeable than you. And secondly, and this for me is a profound one, is in my role as a brand manager for a certain brand in the food drinks category, where I wanted to put in vitamin C, but my PhD colleagues in technical said it was not possible because of the cooking process.
Okay.
But the knowledge I had of science helped me through a thought process that I explained to them, and it seemed strange that a marketer understood that, and eventually we managed to get vitamin C into that product. So the knowledge that one has and learned in university is not wasted, or in school, even in primary or secondary school. And so I would say there's no knowledge that's wasted, because sometime or the other you might use some of it, even if you don't use all of it.
My answer would be yes as well.
Okay.
So I studied computer science.
Okay.
And one of my courses was, of course, mathematics. And it was Venn diagram, the circles that overlap. Remember that?
I remember that in secondary school.
So, of course, when I was taking that course, I was like, okay, we kind of crammed it.
Yes, of course, we do these things.
I apologize. But then when I got to the workplace, I ended up being a database engineer or data engineer. So I wrote a lot of packages to manipulate data. Then Venn diagram came to life.
Ooh.
Yes, and then I saw it play out, and I was like, oh, so my lecturer wasn't just trying to be funny, right? And as I started to teach that particular discipline, I bring it back to the guys at work, and they're like, Shikemi, really? I'm like, yeah. So it does have the application, but I think we also need to be curious about it and not just be like, oh, you know. Another fun one is chemistry and baking.
Ooh. Okay, tell me.
I never liked chemistry.
Okay.
Right. But then I got curious about baking a few years ago before the dollar. So
I like that you did that.
At that point, I was like, okay, I started understanding what happens when I put baking soda, when I put yeast with flour and all that thing that happens. I'm like, this is chemistry come alive. So I would say yes, but we have to be curious and not dismissive.
Okay.
Really.
Very beautiful to see, by the way.
It is.
It's the end of Game 1 on Match Day 2, University Duel 2025 Championship, the battle between University of Nigeria and Olabisi Onabanjo University. We'll be back after the break.
For the first 3 stages, let's just say we had it in the bag, but then the general knowledge, I don't think I'm ever going to take out that stage again in my life.
In the next game, we plan to, use a different combination of people, test it out. Since we have seen our strengths and weaknesses, let's just take this as an experience.
I was very tense before I got to the stage, but immediately I got to the stage, this spirit of calmness came upon me. And initially, we were expecting to be there more than that, although, but we thank God we came out with a positive outcome.
The game turned on its head. It was unexpected, but we thank God for what came out of it.
It's healthcare based.
Okay, what's the name?
Foresight.
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 Okay, what does Foresight do?
It's a prediction model for sicknesses. So instead of you having to just straight up go to the doctor whenever you get like a common cold or something like that, you can just put in your symptoms into is an app. It's AI based.
Okay.
So if you just put in your symptoms, it can help you just what you possibly have. So it can just shorten your pipeline from you to doctor so that it reduces your stress of just going to the doctor. You can first find out what you might have and the precautionary measures to take for it.
It's game 2 on University Duel 2025 Championship, the battle of the best brains between Caleb University versus Achievers University. If I were you, I wouldn't miss any of the action as it promises to be extremely exciting. Do well to follow us on all our socials at University Duel for all the games, fixtures, news highlight, and of course, exclusive BTS. We have Caleb University versus Achievers University. Any background about the school, Miss Shikemi?
About Achievers University?
Tell me. Tell me.
They are the only school that offer a dual qualification approach. So within the same period of 4 years, you get to have your first degree and a professional certification like CCNA, something, a professional certification that you can then use to have like an edge in the industry. I think that's cool, don't you think?
I think it's fantastic. Mr. Amoyele, what can you say about Caleb's University?
Caleb's University. So,
yes.
A specialty school in terms of STEM.
Okay.
So when we look at engineering, computer science, it's part of the key courses, and I think that's very relevant to what we need in terms of Nigeria. So the quality of education around STEM is what I would like to highlight concerning Caleb.
I feel like there's like an hierarchy, federal, state, private, polytechnics, and the like. Do you think that matters in the scheme of things, Ms. Shikemi?
Well, as a private university alumnus, I don't think there should be any beef between it. I know sometimes the private kind of comes across as glorified secondary schools, but I think that's just your beef talking. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, she said it. Your final thoughts on that one, Mr. Amoyele?
No, I think it's not necessarily in terms of the classification. So I happen to go to Federal University.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Up in your leg.
You want to do that?
But I think that's also a function of the quality, and we also do have state universities that are really great. And I've also met graduates from private universities that are also really great. So I think that the classification is a state of the mind, and I think that really is about taking each of those individual schools and seeing how they just scale up in terms of quality.
All right.
I and my team are going up against Achievers University. I'm excited, I'm a bit tensed, honestly, but I know with God and our preparation, we do great.
We'll be facing against Caleb University in the first game of University Duel 2024-2025. We are not trying to underestimate our opponents, but we believe our preparation will definitely pay off.
Now, Caleb University versus Achievers University, they are going to lock in heads, go head to head. Your prediction now?
I think I now realize why I went with OOU. I just remembered that my wife spent 1 year there. So that's where I think I was biased.
Okay.
I have no familial bias with Caleb, but I think that the name Caleb speaks for itself. So I will go with Caleb.
Okay.
Unlike you, I do have a familial connection to Caleb. However, it's not enough.
It's not enough, right?
Yeah. In the Yoruba language, we have a saying that says "atoruko," which means that the name embodies who you are. The name Achievers is self-explanatory.
Okay.
And I think we'll see that at the end of the round.
So Achievers is going to achieve something.
Yeah.
Caleb is going to scale them up.
And Caleb is going to scale.
The name is not in vain. It is not in vain.
All right, we're heading straight to the arena, the battle of the best brains between Caleb University versus Achievers University with the quiz master waiting. Let the battle begin.
If two carriers have a child, what is the probability the child will have the disorder, given that 25% of the population are carriers? If a bacterial population starts with 8,000 cells and triples in 6 hours, what is the new population?
48,000.
I shot. A lens magnifies an image from 1 cm to 4 cm. What is the percentage increase in the size of the image?
25%.
A shopkeeper decides to increase some prices by 40%. By how much would she increase the price of a packet of cereal costing 2 naira?
0.8.
Femi. The perimeter of a rectangular garden is 60 meters. If the length of the garden is 4 meters longer than its width, what is the width of the garden? A car rental company charges a flat fee of $50 and an additional $25 per mile driven. If a customer drives 200 miles, what is the total cost?
5,050.
In a series of trials, each with a 40% chance of success, what is the probability at least one success in 2 trials? A recipe calls for 24 cups of flour to make 64 cookies. How many cups of flour are needed to make 480 cookies? The ratio of ducks and frogs in a pond is 32 to 28 respectively. The average number of ducks and frogs in the pond is 150. What is the number of frogs in the pond? A book costs 2,000 naira. If a 10% discount is applied, how much will you pay for 24 books? Toby?
4,800.
A store offers a 20% discount on all its items. If a shirt costs $25 and a pair of trousers costs $10, how much will you pay for 20 shirts and 5 trousers all together? A recipe calls for 25.10 milliliters of milk. How many liters of milk is equivalent to that? Daniel?
0.0251.
A bag contains 5 red balls, 3 blue. A bag contains 5 red balls, 3 blue. Aishat?
2/91.
When crossing 2 heterozygote plants, what is the probability of producing a heterozygote?
50%. 50%.
Factory produces 400 widgets in 5 days. How many widgets can it produce in 280 days? A coin is flipped 10 times and it lands on heads 8 times. What is the probability of landing on heads on the next flip in percentage?
80%.
Ifemi?
80%.
A rectangular pool is 15 meters long, 8 meters wide, 2 meters deep. How many liters of water does it hold when it is 75% full? The size of an image viewed through a magnifying lens increases from 2 millimeters to 10 millimeters. What is the percentage change in size?
80%.
Femi?
80%.
What is the value of log 2, 64 plus log 2, 32?
11.
Toby? A bacteria culture doubles in size every hour. If there are 100 bacteria initially, how many bacteria will be there?
500.
Aishat?
1,000.
A chemical reaction requires a molar ratio of 8 to 2 between 2 reactants. If you have 32 moles of the first reactant, how many moles of the second reactant are needed?
8.
Daniel?
8.
The price of a product decreased by 60%. To restore the original price, by what percentage should the price be increased? The population of the town is 5,000 and is increasing at a rate of 20% per year. What will be the population in 2 years? Teresa is 4 years older than Linda, but 7 years younger than Charles. The sum of their ages is 51. How old is Charles? If Sally can paint 2 rooms in 6 hours and she works for 2 hours, what fraction of the room is painted?
1/3.
Femi?
1/3.
A car's value depreciates by 20% each year. If the initial price is $30,000, what's the value after 2 years? A car's value depreciates by 20% each year. If the initial price is $30,000, what's the value after 2 years?
20,000.
What is the pH of a solution with hydroxide ion concentration of
4.
Ifemi? A company has has a ratio 2:5 of managers to employees. If there are 4,000 managers, how many employees are there? Daniel?
10,000.
In a cross of 2 heterozygotes, AA, what's the probability of getting a homozygote?
1/4.
Femi? A printer can print 7,000 in 40 minutes. How long will it take to print 4,200 pages? A single gene with 2 alleles controls a genetic trait. If the dominant allele has a frequency of 0.7, what is the frequency of carriers, heterozygous individuals? A shipment costs 120 boxes, each weighing 30 kg. If the total weight of the shipment is 400 kg, what is the weight of the packaging materials? If a microscope magnifies an object by 100x and the actual size of the object is 0.005 Daniel.
0.5 millimeter.
The type of plot commonly used to analyze the reaction rate of a chemical process over time is what? A company sells a product for $50 and makes a profit of $10 per unit. If the company's total profit is $500, how many units did it sell, Daniel?
50.
A recipe for a smoothie calls for a ratio of 2 cups of fruit to 3.5 cups of yogurt. If you want to make a smoothie with 4 cups of fruit, how many cups of yogurt should you use?
7.
Aishat. A company's loss decreased by 8% this year. If the losses were 4 million last year, what are the losses this year? A car travels at a speed of 70 kilometers per hour for 150 minutes. How far does it travel?
3,500.
How many liters of 10% and 20% of an alcohol solution must be added to obtain 10 liters of 12% alcohol solution? How many liters of 10% and 20% of an alcohol solution must be added to obtain 10 liters of 12% alcohol solution? A car's fuel efficiency is 620 miles per gallon. If the car travels 18,000 miles, how many gallons of fuel are used? A student's grade decreased by 15% after an exam. If the original grade was 80%, what's the new grade?
65%. 65.
A swimming pool has dimensions of 18 meters by 12 by 7 meters. What is the volume of the pool in cubic meters? A mixture of water and sand has 3 to 5 ratio of water to sand. If 900 cups of water are used, how many cups of sand?
1,500.
In a cross with a heterozygous plant, what's the probability of offspring in inheriting the recessive allele?
1/4.
A baker makes 25 cakes per day. How many cakes can the baker make in 14 months if a month is 30 days? Calculate the decrease in temperature in Celsius when 2 liters at 27 degrees Celsius is compressed to 1 liter. If a bacterial population starts with 1,000 cells and triples in 6 hours, what's the new population?
3,000. 3,000.
A car travels 2,400 miles on 12 gallons of gas. How far can it travel on 500 gallons?
10,000 miles.
Find the largest of the 3 numbers that sum up to 180 if the ratio of the first to second is 1 to 2 and the ratio of the second to third is 1 to 3. A car rental company charges $30 per day plus $20 per mile driven. If a customer rents a car for 5 days and drives 300 miles, how much will they pay? The ratio of the... Nifemi?
I mean, I'm literally feeling shivers down my spine. Ooh. How would you rate the performance of these universities?
I think, first of all, anyone who goes into a competition and has been able to progress to a certain stage should be commended for it. So I commend both Caleb and Achievers for getting in this level. Obviously, on the basis of the performance in this match day, Achievers will appear to have done better than Caleb. So
yeah, to button for a bit, it actually doesn't mean anything. It just means that Achievers is going to be taking the lead at the brain match. But it also gives them a chance to be honest. Achievers University that achieved a milestone during the quick bus.
That felt good.
hopefully no family problems with your father that you did on Caleb.
Remember I said that I was hoping that stereotypes would be shattered. That was exactly what happened. Just seeing how, even some of those questions, I was like, okay, while I'm still calculating in my head, the answer is out there. And for me, it just gives me hope in this for the STEM industry, right? Because even as we are getting older, we need to make sure that the people that we're handing over the baton to, we're also supporting them to continue the good work. Because this society needs innovation to thrive.
Yeah.
And for me, this was a taste of innovation.
Yeah.
Like, what more could you ask for?
And I found it interesting that, I mean, one of the things, when I talk about stereotypes, I found it was interesting that, at least for Caleb, you had two females. I mean, typically on STEM, there's some sort of a dissonance in terms of female representation. So I kind of noted that was positive, that unless you had two females representing the university.
All right. I know how excited Miss Shikem is feeling right now, but it actually doesn't mean anything. This is just a quick pause. Achievers will be taking the lead at the brain match. We're heading straight to the arena with the quiz master waiting. Let the game begin.
A group of 6 people is selected from a group of 8. How many different groups can be formed? In which country was The Lord of the Rings primarily filmed?
New Zealand.
What plant did Clyde Tombaugh discover in 1930?
Mercury.
Which law of thermodynamics says that the transfer of energy involves some released as heat?
Second.
What is the mean of the numbers 2, 4, 4, 8, 8, 10? What percentage of data points fall within 1.5 standard deviations of the mean in a normal distribution?
68.
How many ways can you choose 4 items from a set of 6? 5 patients were admitted to a hospital and tested for blood pressure, and the results obtained were as follows: 120, 45, 170, 166, 99. Find the mean of the least stated. If the mean of a certain set of data is 16 and variance is 4, then find the coefficient of variance.
1/4.
There is a set of 5 numbers with variance 10. If each number is divided by 2, what is the new variance? Find the range in the following numbers: 9, 8, 15, 8, 20, 13, 20.
18.
A math teacher calculated the mean of a question as 45.5 and the median is 43. Find the modal value. In a Poisson distribution, the number of trials is 200 and probability of success is 1%. What's the mean value of this distribution? Find the missing word. Gavel is to judge as baton is to
Artist.
Complete the series QAR, RAS, SAT, TAU, and dash.
UAV.
Choose the word that is different from the rest.
Pin.
Complete the series. Oxymoron is to contradiction as paradox is to
Riddle.
Complete the series. Fear is to composure as dash is to zenith.
Apex.
Complete the series. Stain is to spill as dash is to blow.
Wing.
In strawberry, which letter is fourth from the right when arranged alphabetically? How is A related to B if B is the daughter of A's brother? Which business model involves offering a product or service for free to attract customers?
Subscription.
A contractor earns 40 naira in 1 hour. How many kobo will he earn in 3 hours?
24.
Arrange the following words as per the order in the dictionary: petitionary, petition, petitioners, petitioned. Complete the series. Sterility is to desolation as fertility is.
Barrenness.
Indonesia is an archipelago comprising approximately dash islands.
5.
Which Egyptian port city was Eratosthenes the librarian of? Which great king of the Franks was crowned emperor by? The ratio of the number of males to the number of females in the population is 4/3. If there are 618 females, how many males are there? If the price of a TV is increased by 35% and then decreased by 20%, what is the net percentage change in the price?
15.
A machine can produce 2,000 units in 5 hours. How many units can it produce in 8 hours?
3,200.
How much 10% alcohol solution should be mixed with 14 ounces of 18% solution to get a 12% solution?
9%.
A store increases the price of a product from $500 to $6,400. What is the percentage increase?
30.
A company's sales increased by 12% last quarter. If the previous quarter sales were $100,000, what are the current sales?
112,000.
A cyclist rides her bike at a rate of 45 kilometers per hour. What is the rate in kilometers per second? A car's fuel tank can hold 480,000 liters of fuel. If it is 1/3 full, how much more fuel can be added? In a monohybrid cross between two heterozygous individuals, what is the probability of producing homozygous dominant
1/4.
A machine processes 1,200 units in 6 hours. How many units can process in 42 hours?
64,000. 8,400.
At constant temperature and pressure, 12 liters of gas is known to contain 0.625
48 liters.
If a bacterial population starts with 4,000 cells and triples in 6 hours, what is the new population?
24,000.
These schools have been drilled in applied mathematics, data analysis, verbal reasoning, but we have one more round for general knowledge between Caleb University, I beg your pardon, versus Achievers University. Let's head straight to the arena with the quiz master standing by.
What palindrome describes the time of day when the sun is directly above our heads?
Noon.
Which deformation and frequently lethal disease that starts with the letter S was declared extinct in 1979? The BBC Sports Personality of the Year is an annual award presented in which country?
USA.
The first national minimum wage law was enacted by President Shehu Shagari in what year?
1980.
From start to finish, how long did it take James Cameron to make Avatar?
13 years.
Flying fish is the national dish of which country?
Atlantis.
Which country do sinologists study its language, literature, and history?
China.
In the movie Shrek, Eddie Murphy voiced what character?
Donkey.
Who sailed in the Golden Hind and became the first Englishman to circumnavigate the globe in an epic? Which type of full moon follows a harvest moon?
Autumn.
Who is the youngest woman to win an Olympic medal?
Kim Yoon-min.
The official national language of Tanzania is what?
French.
What material are Panama hats actually made of?
Cotton.
Who is the sorcerer ally of Dr. Strange, known as the Ancient One?
Yao.
What year did Ray Tomlinson invent internet-based electronic mail?
1984.
Who is the French national heroine and Christian martyr who was burned at the stake in the city of Rouen in 1431?
We just ended a brain match between Caleb University versus Achievers University. The draws are going to be in a bit, and we're going to be finding out who won this particular round. But that was a fierce, intense battle, I must say. There was a bit of tension going on, but that was an epic comeback from Caleb University. I know Mr. Moyele must be happy and excited right now.
Well, I'm happy. I hope Rising. I think it was a good round by Caleb. Maybe more confidence on the parts of the contestants.
Okay, news reaching me says it's a draw. Caleb University, Achievers University. Miss Shikemi, take a deep breath. I mean, that was such an epic comeback from Caleb University. How would you rate the performance so far?
I'm happy for Caleb.
Thank you.
I'm happy. It's a good comeback, but they shouldn't get too excited. Just Don't be too excited.
It shouldn't be too excited.
Don't be too excited.
Any question that stood out for you? Quickly.
Yeah, the question around freemium. Yeah, I wish we had more subscriptions that were freemium though. But yeah, that stood out for me.
So the brain match is about strategy, teamwork. Did you think that played out? Mr. Omoyele, if you were Pep Guardiola. Right now, coaching Caleb University, who do you think would be your first player? You know, applied mathematics, verbal reasoning, general knowledge, that kind of came into play. You know, how would you do that for your university? Yeah, Caleb University.
so I think that the last contestant that did it was a bit more confident in terms of his responses. So I would obviously put him right in the front and take lead in that. Yes. Even though I was a bit disappointed at the response to the question around the language spoken in Tanzania.
But also, I feel there was a bit of tension, especially for Caleb. So I don't think they initially, on the quick bars, I don't think they really settled in quite well. But there was a bit of a comeback, you know, on the brain match. We had the quick bars with Achievers winning and the brain match to draw. What do you think about it generally, Mr. Omoyele?
No, I think it's an exciting game. I think in all things that have the contest, you will have some person or a team ahead at some point. But I think the thing is, even if you're not ahead at that point in time, how do you build up resilience? And I think it also speaks to life itself. Even when you seem to be behind, how do you just calm down, be patient, and then see, look, how do you forge ahead, regardless of what the current status might be, if it's not positive?
The math element seems to be not as strong. It's almost like STEM is going in descending order. We kind of have sciences, and then we have technology, and then maybe, for me, it's a charge to see how I can support the maths community to have more representation, right? Because again, when you think about the world and pretty much society, the foundation is maths.
Definitely.
So we kind of need to beef that up. But overall, I'm encouraged, and best of luck to achievers.
Who would most likely or possibly achieve a milestone?
Yeah.
Mr. Omoyele, let's quickly hear from you.
I think it's been exciting, just seeing the quality of the display of mental acuity and also the knowledge by the contestants. And I think also, as she said, also just gives hope into the future. I think that what I would say is that regardless of career that the students might pivot to later in their career, in their lives, I think the key thing is there's no knowledge. That's been my experience. There's no knowledge that is wasted.
Yeah.
And therefore, regardless of what they're studying within STEM, I think the key thing is to see how they can apply those learnings as they forge ahead in life, regardless of the careers that they eventually get into.
I think we are the best match between Caleb University and Achievers. So the game was, I don't even know, it was like, there was a tension, but there was also some kind of ease about it. And going forward, we'll just try to increase our speed and, read wider so as to be able to move on to the next round.
It was exciting, but I believe I should have sealed the game early on. And I apologize to my teammates about that. And moving forward, we'll try our best and we hope the best for our opponents.
If I were you, I wouldn't miss any of this action, as it promises to be extremely exciting. Make sure you catch us on our social media platforms at University Duel for all the games fixtures, news, highlight, and of course, exclusive BTS. We are on YouTube as well and every other station from January 25 to March 2025. The game between Lautech and OAU, and also Bells taking on Futa. My name is Joy Love Akin Olamigoke, signing right out of the studio. It's University Duel 2025 Championship. Goodbye.